What's up, traders? Going 2 for 5 today. Ended up being a red day, but considering how bad this could have been on RYTM, pretty excited that we only ended up down $8. Could have actually ended up being like a $50 green day. Actually, much more than that had things kind of continued to work with some leftovers on certain trades, but that didn't happen. We ended up with a break even day, and I'm pretty happy about it. So we'll start here on ARRY. I was in this one at the same time I started RYTM. This one kind of just worked. It did try to go a little bit higher. Was looking to add up through 1250, never got there, so just held on. Put our take profit down towards 12 and got the fill for exactly 20 cents on this one. And then over to RYTM, which was the crazy one. If you want to go over to Twitch and watch this one live, it was quite the doozy. But you're going to see, I'm going to try to walk this one through as quickly as possible, but not too slow. But started this with 100 shares, added 100 shares, was looking for the big pop up through 13 here to get a nice add of 200 shares. But as you can see, or 1250, I'm sorry, not 13, but we didn't get it. So I added 100, looking to add the other 100 on the other side, which happened. And then it went up to 13. And right here on the way down, it didn't come all the way down like this, but I added these 200 shares by accident. I didn't mean to click the button. I had 200 shares loaded. I was actually getting ready to take profit out for 2 of the 400 shares that I had. And I just hit the short button. I think I was hovering over it and I just clicked. So it actually started to go higher. I gave it like a second to see if it wanted to work right then and there. It didn't. It actually tried to go higher. So we took those 200 shares off at a pretty decent loss, actually. Let me check real quick. 1, 1, 1. Yeah, it was this 2 right here. So we lost 22 cents on the 200 shares. So right there, I mean, that was 40 some dollars, like $44 loss in the matter of a couple seconds just because of a misclick. And of course, right after that, it did end up starting to work itself out. It gave us a little pop. We actually tried to add some more shares here, looking for the move back down. And we ended up taking some off, pop back up towards the highs. Actually, I think it popped back up towards the high before we took some off. Let me see. Yeah. So we added 400 here to give us 800. And then I tried to actually add a bunch more, knowing that I was just going to cut it at high of day if it got there. But it wouldn't let me. Ran out of buying power again on something that we shouldn't have, but it was at 100%. And it as you could see in the position manager when I was in the trade, well, maybe you guys couldn't on the stream, but you could see that it was adding up a lot quicker than it probably should have. So I kept scrolling down 100 shares at a time, trying to just add what I could. And could I have added, I tried to add 800. So I had 800 shares here. I tried to add 800 more. Had it let me, that would have been beautiful because it gave us a drop right here. Would have been a really nice trade, but I only got to add 200. Which then as it came down, I don't even think we got to our average. We ended up taking some off at a loss here, or maybe it was like right at break even. I don't remember. But then it tries to go higher pretty quickly. Was trying to see, I've been teetering around with the idea that if it didn't come down and retest that previous resistance, the odds are it's still going to. And the odds, if I can keep them in my favor, are a lot of times you get these pokes through high of day, it'll come down, try to retest it, and then try to go higher, not go higher, and then break through, and then you get the pullback. And that's kind of what this one did, but it did a little different than I was ready for. It poked through, kind of went sideways, started to come down. That's when we took our ad, looking for it to come back down through into that range, and then maybe come down, start retesting those areas like 12 and maybe even lower like 1137. But it started to go higher. So we took some shares off, and that was kind of a bummer. I believe it was, we added 300 and we took 300 off. So we were back down to those 200, and then we added, it looks like we added all of them back there. So we actually added 600 back on the move back down through 13. So we were playing with some decent share size on this one. But we kind of built it up from the beginning. And so we were just kind of accepting the risk when we were in. And at this point, when I added these shares, I told myself, because I remember we had 300, added 300, and then I was like, I'm gonna add the other 300. I know I could get up to 1,000, but I only decided to take 900 just because it was 300, 300, 300, and basically said on the stream, this is it. 1326. If it gets back to the highs, that's that. We would have been pretty close to max loss. It would have been in the $400 range. I don't know if it would have been all the way up to 500, but it would have been pretty close. But as you can see, it did try to go higher. I was just kind of getting ready to lick my wounds a little bit, and then it started to come down, and it worked out. Got most of it out here. We took off, it looks like 600. We took off 600, and then we took off another 150. So that left us with 150. And then it came down, and we took off half of that, so 75. And ultimately, I was hoping to get that other 75 down here at 12. And obviously, you can see that didn't happen. It actually ended up going back to the highs, didn't quite get through. And ultimately, it did come down and retest that previous resistance. So I obviously wasn't going to let these go against me. I think I took these off like a little bit above my average, and that was that. So we ended up with a $26 loss on this one, which is much better than almost 500. So I was pretty happy with that. Considering, I think as this was happening, we were CPRI popped up, and we took this one real quick. This one was kind of a volume out of nowhere. Previous resistance 46.78. As you can see, pulled it up, right? It was 348. We hit it once we felt the top. It was coming back down. Took 50 shares real quick and just put it a little around halfway down to that previous resistance, and got filled. As you can see, this went all the way back down to the previous resistance pretty quickly, and then all the way back up to high of day. But I was pretty happy to kind of jump over there, make a quick little bit on that one, because I remember doing something on RYTM at the same time, and it just didn't. I didn't really have time to kind of mess with this one. So I remember I just came over, double clicked. It said like 53, changed it to 50. And I really need to stop doing that. I need to just click and go. I told myself this week that's what I was going to do. But I think Monday just kind of threw me off with the decent loss. And then this morning, just dealing with rhythm. It's just, man. Anyways, got CPRI, RYTM turned out okay. And then coin came along, and 71.35 made a nice move, and I laughed because you can see it came down and retested it eventually. But we started this one, was kind of looking to just scale into this one kind of slow. But if we zoom in even more, you'll see that this thing just became so grindy. So I tried to wait until the move through 76. Let's just get rid of these lines. I tried to wait for this move through 76 to get an ad. It kind of poked through and then came right back down. As it was at 76, I thought I hit it at 76, but I think the charts were lagging a little bit because I actually got filled at 75, 76. So we only had 40 shares. It started to come down. It really felt like it was finding support here. And this thing was following the SPY, and the SPY actually started to rip to the upside. And right after we got out, it did go higher, like it was going to try to go higher with the SPY. But ultimately, it actually ended up coming down. We took some off down here. If we took the whole thing here, we would have been green on the trade. It would have been break even. I mean, it would have been like, we would have been up like $1. But we were looking for the bigger move down, back down towards this previous resistance. And as you can see, it started to go higher. So we took it off, but I noticed it was starting to kind of form into a descending triangle. As you can see here, it kept hitting these same support lines and making lower highs each time. So we jumped back in looking for the break. It did try. Didn't get through, ultimately came back up, went towards the highs, took another, it was a full point, but we only had 10 shares, so we only lost $10 more. Was really looking to just kind of make back what I had lost over here on that crack back down towards that previous resistance. But ultimately, it ended up going higher, and it did keep trying to go higher, but it never made like a nice move to get back in. But ultimately, this thing failed and came all the way back down to that previous resistance, which I'm noticing happens a lot. If you can really just kind of hang in there through however high it wants to try to go, it always seems to come down and test that previous resistance. I mean, that did it. ARRY did it. I mean, I'm looking at like that previous day high. I mean, it's almost to a T as well. Look at it. It comes all the way up, makes that move, comes down, bounces right off of it. Coin, same thing. Made the move, comes down, bounces off of it. CPRI, same thing. Goes through. Took a little bit longer, but eventually comes down, bounces off of it. RYTM, wouldn't you know it? I mean, you could say this one, but I actually drew this line because of these levels from as you can just see on the chart. And look at what it did. Through, took a lot longer, came down, retested it. So there's a lot to be said there. I was actually just talking to David about this on Monday. Maybe we're in a market right now where you just have to decrease size and try to stay in trades a lot longer and just let them kind of work their magic, because this trade looked good all the way down here, but look how far it went. But ultimately, it does come back down and retest those levels. It's been doing that a lot. So that's all I got today. Just something to think about. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thankfully, we only ended up down $8 today. I'm not going to complain. That's obviously before commissions. We had 28 tickets, which isn't bad, but we did have a lot on RYTM that were higher price tickets. So those will be a couple bucks instead of that 35 cents. So it'll add up. We're probably down, if I had to guess, probably like $30 today overall. So like the $8 and then probably like 22 in commissions or so. But again, not too bad considering we could have been down like $500. So I'll take it. Find me in Discord, find me over on Twitter, find me live over on Twitch. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe. Peace.